Real quick, before we get into the goodness, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you're notified to every time we upload a video. Appreciate you. What's going on, everybody? It is your man, Big Brother Tucker. Or, as I now have the new title, it is your favorite alt-right propagandist. That's right, I am now officially an alt-right propagandist because I called out incoming race baiting due to the upcoming election. I pointed out the flaws in all the phantom racism, and particularly how, and this is where the alt-right propagandists came from, particularly how I called all these progressives closeted racist. And I provided evidence and proof. And y'all know how much the left, the progressives, the liberals, y'all know how much they hate being provided with proof and evidence. And so, to keep my title strong of alt-right propagandist, I'm going to provide more proof and more evidence. I often believe and have been proven right on the term racist and how, according to black people can be racist. I don't think they understand what the definition of racist is. So allow me to clarify that. Now, the Oxford Dictionary defines racist. Noun, a person who is prejudiced against or antagonistic toward people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group. Now, reading that, did y'all hear me say against all black people, against all Asians, against all indigenous Americans? The list goes on and on. Did it say the only people that can be racist are white people? No. It says a person who is prejudiced against or antagonistic toward a people based on their membership to a particular racial or ethnic group. With that being said, for far too long, and too many people, my black people, my lovely people, are of the idea and belief that black people cannot be racist, when I can clearly look back in my life and people that I had around me, some related to me, that were clearly racist. Clearly. They hated people based on the pigmentation of their skin. Now, racism to me is all but idiotic, but it's been around since, hell, Bible days. I just don't understand the racism, because if you look back and if you do the 23andMe like I've done, you'll see that the pigmentation of your skin does not always portray your true ethnic background. Because I am damn near as much, shocking to y'all, Irish as I am black. I was stunned with that.
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
Even though I do have freckles and red hair, so not entirely stunned. It's just the whole I hate you because of the pigmentation of your skin is absolutely asinine. And if you really want to know how crazy it is, there's an episode of Rick and Morty where they clearly show you, and it's not until you hear them say it, they clearly explain how absolutely asinine racism is based on your appearance.
Oof, oh my god, these snakes are a mess. 19 billion snakes divided into 10,000 nations, all on the brink of global war over... Oh, race? How funny is that? Imagine being a racist snake. Hey, other snake, I hate you because you're the wrong color snake. Oh my god.
So, the whole crux of this comes from, and the reason I talked about my black people in the beginning, is because of an incident here in the Metroplex. In Mesquite, Texas, right down the road from where I live, there was a African-American teacher, elementary school teacher, openly racist. But the racism did not get exposed until her sister decided to spend time with, hang out with, apparently date a white man. And her post on X, formerly known as Twitter, conveyed that. She's completely deleted the account now. But she said, quoting, "I am a proud black supremacist." Wow.
You're racist.
That's frightening. And she also posted on her X account how she encouraged her boyfriend, I don't know what exactly the status of them is, but a male companion of hers to come kill the white man that is laying up with her sister. Now, for anybody that may be listening to this and thinking that it's okay, that it's understandable, here is something that you need to apply to see if something is racist. Say something and then ask yourself, would it be cool if another race said it? And that is a rule of thumb to see if something is racist. Because let's be honest, if it were X posts or text messages shared out there that said, I want one of my redneck homeboys to come kill this jungle bunny, we would lose our minds. There will be damn near riots and protests. I take that back. There would be riots and protests in the streets. Now, of course, before this teacher could be fired, because many parents saw those posts on X and shared them with the Mesquite Independent School District, and once she found out that her racist little secret had gotten out, she resigned. She resigned before she could be fired. But now the secret's out. Everybody knows what you are. You posted it. The internet is forever. People screenshotted it. You're a proud black supremacist. You wanted to have someone killed for being the wrong pigmentation and daring to spend time or be around your sister. And I get it. One of the things that she said in one of her posts was she could not believe her sister would bring a white man to her house knowing that she's racist. Okay. Now, if your sister knew that, yeah, I agree. She shouldn't have brought somebody that you don't want into your home. I'm wondering if your sister took your racism seriously. Because if she did, if she knew that's how you felt to have the gall, the anger, the hatred, the distrust to actually want to have someone harmed because of their color, I'm not sure that she would even have invited him over. Because she said in the text that you shared that she had white friends. And because they're white, you don't like them. Now, I want y'all to check this out because this teacher is a young lady in her 20s. And I'm going to say something here that once again will get me labeled alt-right propagandist or my other favorite, Uncle Tom. I self-hate. I hate my own race when actually I'm furthest from it. But I digress. I believe that most African Americans under the age of 30 are a victim of fabricated, phantom, media-pushed racism. It is 2023. You were born in the late 90s and grew up in the early 2000s. At that juncture, interracial couples had become the norm. It wasn't like it was in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Hell, even some of the 80s. For you to be referring to this teacher in your 20s and think that all white people are evil, you fell into the media trap. You fell into the hype. You might have even been raised that way. But it's on you to change. Because things won't change unless you change them. There is a very, very good reason why Martin Luther King adopted the Bible's tactic of you must defeat hate with love. Because hate on hate gains you nothing. I remember my pastor saying, the problem with man's version of an eye for an eye is that everyone is left blind. I found that very profound and very deep. And when I thought about it, I often hear people use the term fight fire with fire. If y'all know where that comes from, and that comes from firemen having to fight wildfires. In an attempt to stop an oncoming fire, firefighters would dig a break and start a fire to meet the other flame that was coming in. That's where the term fighting fire with fire comes from. It is literally that. It's using flame to fight another flame. Do you know what happens to those flames once they meet? They burn each other out. See, fighting fire with fire doesn't mean one fire won or there's any kind of flame remaining. No, you use those tactics to destroy everything. Fighting a fire with a fire means those flames engulf each other and die out. Is that really what we got going on here? Is that really what we're going to let the media and the people in positions of power push us to? Are we going to listen to all this phantom and make-believe racism from people that have platforms and preach it, but I guarantee you they really don't experience it? Guarantee you. My previous segment, my previous video, I said the exact same thing using the example of the Matrix. Would we know it was racism if they didn't say shit? And I understand. Look, I am not trying to convince people that are well in their 60s that things have changed because of when and how they grew up. I got relatives that no matter, despite the evidence, they will always see white people with a side eye, an eye of distrust. I understand that. It was when they grew up, how they grew up. But homegirl, you grew up in the 2000s. Calm the down. You may have grown up in a racist community. So does that mean everybody's a racist? I mean, using that logic, that means if a white person is robbed by somebody black, every black person is a criminal. Do you want to perpetuate that? Or do you want to grow the up and change shit? It is easy to bend with the wind and go with the flow of the crowd. It is much more difficult to stand up, admit areas where you were wrong, where your thought processes were skewed, and change. Look, I was one of you. I spent some formative years of my life in a very openly racist town here in Texas. I've mentioned it before. I can count how many black kids attended my junior high, intermediate, and high school. It really was like that. My two of my three oldest friends I made in that racist town, two of them being white. I was chased home by skinheads one day. I was called boy in the derogatory sense by the football coach. So does that mean I need to hate all white people? I understood the lessons my mother taught me because of when she came up, how she came up. And for a very long time, I carried that sentiment. And sometimes that sentiment was justified. I remember driving into predominantly white cities in DFW and getting pulled over because I was a black man in the wrong part of town at the wrong time of day. But I also knew not everybody is like this. And all they need to see is I am not your average black man. I'm not going to hate you. I'm not going to run from you. I'm not going to cower, but I'm also not going to be disgusted by you. I'm not going to let you change the God-given heart and love that each person should have in them. I've experienced true-to-life racism, documented. I have witnesses. And yet here I am speaking to you now, telling you not all white people are bad. And this is 2023 is leaps and bounds better from hell, even 2000. That's what it is. So my black people, examine yourself, adjust your thoughts, and remember that anybody can be a racist. Just make sure it's... Hey, I hope you have enjoyed that YouTube exclusive video. That is a small segment from our podcast, Free Mind Thinkers, which can be found on all places that you may download your favorite podcast, including iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and any place else you choose to download your podcast. If you want to see Rumble exclusive videos, you can check us out over there, where you have exclusive content from the shows as well. Until the next time, remember to stand up, stand out, think differently.